The unexamined life is not worth living.
Yes, that's it exactly.
Examination of conscience, that Ignatius called it, having us look back over the day.
You can't hope to become better at anything unless you reflect on your mistakes.
Too many of us are like bulls in the china shop and go around breaking a lot of furniture or china or whatever, and if we don't reflect, we're just going to keep on messing up other people.
I'm really looking at the last 24 hours, or maybe even the last 12 hours if I do it twice a day. But I'm looking at the last day and saying, okay, what were the events of my life? Where did I find God in those events? Where did I get in the way of finding God in the events?
And you look over your day, it's kind of like putting Jesus next to you on a sofa, put your day in the video machine or the VCR or the DVD, and play it with Jesus sitting next to you. And so both you and Jesus are looking at your day and say, look, did you see that? Did you like how I acted there? Or that was tough. I know, I'm not being nice there. I'm being cruel there, actually. I feel bad about that. And Jesus is saying, it's okay. Did you do your best? Try again tomorrow.
Where was Christ in my day? I like to say, who wore God's face? Who wore God's face for me today?
So each day I want to become more the person I want to become. And look at the person I am becoming. Sometimes those two don't match.
And then trying to find the places where I didn't see God's face. And then I ask myself, why? You know, what was it that didn't allow me? What lenses were I wearing at the time that didn't allow me to see God's face at that moment?
Sorrow, sadness, what moved me this day, and pray through that, and how have I grown in that during this day, and then to begin to look at the next day.
And where there are missed opportunities, might God have been reaching out to you through somebody who really needed some help, or somebody who could have used a kind word, and maybe you were too preoccupied with what you were doing and you sort of missed it. And now you can think about it. Well, that's really important that we take time like that.
For me, it's really the kind of day-by-day check-in. Okay, I did these good things about my relationship with the Lord today, or in the last day, and I really got in the way of the Lord in these ways over the last day.
So for me, the examen is very important. I put everything that of the day past into the hands of the Lord during the examen and say, this is yours. Do something about it, you know, and let me reflect on it and in your presence and see how we should go the next day.
Near the end of the examen, or at the end of the examen, you should be propelled to go out there and then ask yourself, you know, how do I find God tomorrow in the places where I didn't see Him today?
Easy to say, it's not so easy to do, because it requires generosity and ongoing listening and knowing yourself and all those kinds of things.
What would it be for me to wear God's face? What would it be for me to be the hands of Christ tomorrow for this person? Maybe even specifically for the very people that we had trouble seeing God in the day before. It's going to take some work. It's going to take a great deal of patience and prayerful practice, you know, and I mean practice in the same way that you practice for a sport.
If you were going to try to improve your golf game, well, you either go to a pro and you say, hey, look what I'm doing, point out to me where I'm making mistakes. There's got to be something I'm doing wrong. And once you get that and you're conscious of what some of the things are, you can self-correct a bit.
We know usually what it is that's keeping us, what lens we've put over our eyes that's keeping us from seeing God's face in the day. And so Ignatius says to state explicitly, what gift do you need from God today? So if I'm an impatient person, then I need to pray for that grace of patience, and pray with a great deal of hope that God is longing to fulfill those wishes, to fulfill those desires in me, because He's the one who put the desires in me from the first place. But if I pray explicitly for those graces, that, Lord, I need more patience. I need the grace of patience. Ignatius says that the Lord will run to you with that gift, and your cup will be overflowing with patience. provided that you keep praying for it and you believe in it and you pray and you have hope. You always have hope that the Lord really loves you enough to give you that grace.
And I think in my years as a teacher, when you realize, oh gee, if I had been a little kinder in this situation or given a kind of direction that way, it would have been a better thing to do. Well, if you don't do that, you might as well hang it up in not just spiritually, but in your humanity. You've got to learn by experience and make resolutions to do it better, and it cannot be done without some examination of conscience.
But it's good for everybody, whether it fits your personality or it doesn't. And if it doesn't fit your personality, you should learn to make it fit.